themselves claim that they are involved in the riots in Iran. The monarchists, which are funded by Western regimes, also claim to be active on the streets of different cities in Iran. The terrorist groups that are based in northern Iraq, they too claim to be active across the country and on the streets. So there's no doubt that the Americans and the Europeans are deeply involved in these very violent riots. And we know they're violent because well over 40 police officers and Basij members were murdered by these different rioters. And the United States and the Europeans, if this had happened in their own countries, they wouldn't tolerate any of this. But these rioters are being egged on by Persian-language media based in the West, largely in London, funded by the West and the Saudis. And these media outlets are calling the killings and the burnings and the beatings as legitimate. So Ofcom, if this was these were English language media directed towards English-speaking countries, they would shut these television stations down immediately and arrest these people. But when it comes to Iran, it's all fair game.
Okay, what about the sanction on Press TV? They are talking about some forced confessions aired on Press TV, and we're not aware of that.
Yes, that's another very good point that you mentioned. There were no forced confessions on Press TV. The accusations are ridiculous. They simply wanted to sanction Press TV. None of the sanctions have any impact because, as you know, all Iranian media outlets have already been sanctioned by Western regimes. And the same is true with the guards, with the police, with all of Iranian businesses. All of these sanctions are simply symbolic. But it is interesting that they target Iranian English media. Even though it is symbolic, it shows that they're intolerant towards any alternative voice. So you can have fake news from the Canadian Prime Minister who lied in his tweet last night saying that 15,000 Iranians are going to be executed because of some law passed by parliament. The whole thing is fake, but he can do that. Yet the Iranians are not allowed to have any voice of their own.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Mohammad Marandi, professor at the University of Tehran.